Every day, your mind is giving you instructions. Sometimes it says, do the work. Other times it says, maybe tomorrow. Sometimes it pushes you forward. Sometimes it pulls you backward. And the direction of your life depends on which voice you choose to follow. Most people want success. They want a better future, better health, better finances, better opportunities. But wanting is not enough, because success is not determined by what you want. It is determined by what you repeatedly do. And what you repeatedly do is controlled by your mind. Success is predictable. It's not luck and it's not magic. It's hard work and discipline. Now understand something important. Discipline does not begin in your schedule. It begins in your thinking. Before you can discipline your actions, you must discipline your mind. Because every action starts as a thought. A thought becomes a decision. A decision becomes an action. An action becomes a habit. And a habit becomes your future. That is why mastering your mind is so important. If you cannot control your thoughts, you will struggle to control your life. If you cannot direct your attention, you will drift wherever distractions lead you. If you cannot overcome your excuses will overcome your dreams. Think about how many opportunities are lost every day. Not because people lack talent, not because they lack potential, but because they fail to win the battle inside their own minds. The battle against procrastination, the battle against fear, the battle against doubt, the battle against comfort. And comfort is dangerous because comfort whispers, take it easy. You can do it later. One day won't matter, but successful people understand something different. Small choices matter. Small disciplines matter. Small actions matter. Because success is built one disciplined decision at a time. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. Now imagine what happens when you train your mind. When you stop listening to excuses. When you stop negotiating with your goals. When you stop allowing temporary feelings to control permanent decisions. Everything begins to change. Your focus becomes stronger. Your confidence grows. Your habits improve. Your results follow. Because a disciplined mind creates a disciplined life. We're going to explore how to discipline your mind for success. How to take control of your thoughts. How to overcome mental weakness. How to develop unstoppable focus. And how to become the kind of person who follows through no matter what. Because the quality of your life depends on the quality of your thinking. And when you master your mind, you begin to master your future. Control your thoughts. Control your actions. Control your destiny. Because success begins in the mind long before it appears in reality. The greatest victory in life is not over the world outside of you, but over the world inside of you. Think about that. Every person you see who is struggling is not first struggling with life. They are struggling with their thinking, because everything in life begins in the mind. Every action, every habit, every result, it all starts there, quietly, internally. You cannot change your life until you change your thinking. Now understand this clearly. Inside every person, there is a constant battle. A battle between discipline and distraction. A battle between focus and fear. A battle between growth and comfort. And every day, one side wins. If discipline wins, you move forward. If excuses win, you stay the same. There is no middle ground. You are either training your mind or your mind is training you. And most people don't realize it. They think their problem is outside. Their job, their situation, their circumstances. But the real problem is internal. It is how they think about those things. Change the way you think, and you change the direction of your life. Now think about your mind like a leader. If the leader is weak, the whole life becomes weak. If the leader is confused, the whole life becomes confused. If the leader is undisciplined, everything becomes unstable. And that leader is your mind. So the first responsibility in life is not changing the world. It is mastering yourself. Now let's go deeper. Every thought you allow becomes a suggestion. Every suggestion you accept becomes a belief. Every belief you repeat becomes a habit. And every habit shapes your future. That is how powerful your mind is. And if you are not careful, your mind will accept anything. Doubt, fear, excuses, negativity. And once those thoughts are repeated long enough, they begin to feel true, even when they are not. A thought repeated often enough becomes a belief, and a belief shapes your destiny. Now here is the truth most people ignore. You cannot always control what enters your mind, but you can control what stays there. And that is where discipline begins. Discipline is not just about action. It is about mental control, refusing to entertain weak thoughts, refusing to repeat excuses, refusing to accept limitations. Because what you allow in your mind will eventually show up in your life. Now imagine a person who masters their mind. They do not panic under pressure. They do not quit when things get difficult. They do not listen to every negative thought. They respond with discipline. They respond with clarity. They respond with control. And slowly, their life begins to change. Not because the world changed, but because they changed. The strongest people are not those who never struggle. They are those who win the battle within. So if you want success, start here, inside your mind. Because if you can win here, you can win anywhere. Master your mind, control your thoughts, and you begin to control your future. Success is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. Think about that. Discipline does not begin with your hands. It does not begin with your habits. It begins with your mind. Because every action you take was first a thought you allowed, and if you cannot control your thinking, you will struggle to control your life. Now understand this. Your mind is always active, always talking, always suggesting, always influencing. Sometimes it pushes you toward growth. Sometimes it pulls you toward comfort. And the battle of success is deciding which voice you will follow. A disciplined mind creates a disciplined life. Now let's be honest. Most people are not failing because they don't know what to do. They are failing because they cannot make themselves do it consistently. They know the right actions, but they delay. They hesitate. They overthink. They wait for the right moment. And that moment rarely comes because a mind without discipline always finds excuses. It's too hard. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. Just one more day won't hurt. And slowly, tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Next month becomes next year. And nothing changes. Not because life stopped them, but because their mind was never trained. You are not controlled by your situation. You are controlled by your thinking. So how do you discipline your mind? First, you must learn to take control of your thoughts. Not every thought deserves attention. Not every idea deserves action. Not every feeling deserves obedience. Some thoughts must be ignored. Some thoughts must be replaced. Some thoughts must be challenged. Because if you allow every thought to lead you, you will lose direction. Now think about successful people. They do not obey every impulse. They do not act on every emotion. They do not follow every distraction. They choose. They decide. They control. And that is discipline. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. Now let's go deeper. Discipline is built in small moments, not big ones. It is built when you wake up and still get to work. It is built when you study, even when you don't feel like it. It is built when you push forward, even when motivation is low. Because every small decision trains your mind, either toward discipline or toward weakness. There is no neutral. Every time you give in to excuses, you strengthen them. Every time you resist excuses, you weaken them. And over time, your mind becomes shaped by repetition. Now listen carefully. You do not need a perfect mind to start. You need a willing mind, a mind that says, I will not negotiate with my goals, because discipline is not about perfection. It is about direction. A disciplined mind does not always feel strong, but it chooses strength anyway. It does not always feel motivated, but it acts anyway. It does not always feel ready, but it starts anyway. Action is the cure for doubt. Now understand this deeply. Every time you delay what you know you should do, you weaken your mind. But every time you act despite resistance, you strengthen it. That is how discipline is built. Not in comfort, but in resistance. Not in ease, but in effort. Now think about your future. The quality of your life will not be determined by what you know. It will be determined by what you consistently do. And what you consistently do is controlled by your mind. So discipline your thoughts. Discipline your attention. Discipline your decisions. Because when your mind becomes disciplined, your life begins to follow. Master the mind, and you master the life. Think clearly. Decide firmly. Act consistently. Because success begins when your mind stops negotiating and starts leading. Success is not built in a day. It is built in what you do every day. Think about that. Most people underestimate the power of daily habits. They think success comes from one big moment, one big opportunity, one big breakthrough. But that is not how life works. Success is not a single event. It is a pattern of discipline, a pattern of consistency, a pattern of small actions repeated over time. Success is a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Now understand something important. What you do daily becomes who you become. Not occasionally, not sometimes, daily, because repetition shapes identity. If you repeat discipline, you become disciplined. If you repeat effort, you become strong. If you repeat focus, you become focused. But the same is also true in the opposite direction. If you repeat laziness, you become lazy. If you repeat excuses, you become weak. If you repeat distraction, you lose direction. That is why daily discipline is so powerful. It is not just about what you achieve. It is about who you are becoming. Now think about successful people. They are not always more talented. They are not always more gifted. They are simply more consistent. They show up when others do not. They work when others wait. They continue when others quit. And over time, that consistency becomes their advantage. Small disciplines, repeated with consistency every day, lead to great achievements. Now let's go deeper. Daily discipline is built in simple actions, not complicated ones. Waking up on time, reading and learning daily, working on your goals every day, practicing your skills regularly, staying focused on your priorities. These are simple things, but they are powerful when repeated, because greatness is not built by intensity alone. It is built by consistency. Now understand this clearly. You do not need to do everything at once. You just need to do the right things daily. Even small progress matters. Even small improvement matters. Even small discipline matters. Because small actions compound. And over time, small actions become big results. Now think about a seed. A seed does not become a tree overnight. It grows slowly, quietly, consistently, day after day, without noise, without attention, without recognition. But because it is consistent, it becomes strong. That is how your life works too. You may not see results immediately, but every disciplined action is building something inside you. Strength, character, skill, confidence, momentum. And eventually, those invisible efforts become visible results. What you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while. Now here is the truth many people miss. You do not rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. And your system is your daily discipline. So if your system is weak, your results will be weak. But if your system is strong, your future will be strong. Now ask yourself honestly, what are your daily habits creating? Are they building your success? or delaying it? Because every day you are either moving closer to your goals or farther away. There is no standing still. So choose discipline. Choose consistency. Choose daily action. Because success is not created in bursts. It is created in habits. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Now make this decision. Commit to daily discipline, even when it is hard, even when it is slow, even when you don't feel like it. Because over time, what feels small today becomes unstoppable tomorrow. Stay consistent. Stay disciplined. Stay committed. Because your daily actions are quietly building the life you will one day live. Excuses are the nails used to build a house of failure. Think about that. Most people do not fail suddenly. They fail gradually, slowly, quietly, through small excuses repeated over time. I'm too tired. I don't feel like it. I'll do it later. It's not the right time. And at first, these sound harmless, even reasonable. But over time, they become a pattern. And that pattern becomes a life. Your life does not improve when your excuses improve. It improves when your discipline improves. Now understand this clearly. Mental weakness is not something you are born with. It is something you allow, something you repeat, something you practice. And like any habit, it grows stronger with repetition. Every time you give in to an excuse, you teach your mind a lesson. That is acceptable. That is normal. That is who I am. And slowly, your potential gets buried under comfort. Now think about this. Successful people are not free from excuses. They are just better at rejecting them. They feel the same resistance, the same tiredness, the same doubt, but they respond differently. They do not negotiate with their goals. They do not surrender to comfort. They do not obey every feeling. They act. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Now let's go deeper. Excuses always sound logical in the moment, but they always lead to regret later. And that is the trap. Because the mind will always try to protect comfort, even at the cost of your future. So you must become aware, very aware, because excuses are not loud. They are subtle. They sound like reason, but they are really resistance. Now ask yourself honestly, how many dreams have been delayed? Not by failure, but by excuses? How many goals have been postponed? Not because they were impossible, but because they were uncomfortable? And here is the truth most people avoid. You do not need more motivation. You need less negotiation with yourself, less delay, less hesitation, less justification. A weak mind always negotiates. A strong mind decides. Now understand this deeply. Mental strength is built when excuses are refused. Not once, but repeatedly. Every time you say no to an excuse, you become stronger. Every time you choose action over comfort, you grow. Every time you move forward despite resistance, you build character. And character is what determines destiny. Because talent without discipline collapses. And dreams without action disappear. Now think about your future self. That person you want to become, that life you want to build, that success you want to reach. It is not waiting for perfect conditions. It is waiting for stronger decisions. Your future is created by what you refuse to excuse today. So eliminate mental weakness. Stop entertaining excuses. Stop negotiating with delay. Stop allowing comfort to lead your decisions. Because every excuse accepted today becomes a limitation tomorrow. But every excuse rejected today becomes strength for your future. Now choose carefully. Will you protect your comfort, or will you protect your future? Because you cannot protect both. Reject excuses. Build discipline. Strengthen your mind. And step into the life you are capable of creating. Where your focus goes, your life follows. Think about that. Focus is not just attention. It is direction. It is power. It is life itself. concentrated into one point. Because what you focus on grows. If you focus on problems, you will see more problems. If you focus on fear, you will feel more fear. If you focus on distraction, you will become scattered. But if you focus on growth, you will grow. If you focus on discipline, you will become disciplined. If you focus on your goals, you will move toward them. It is that simple, but not easy. Success is not about doing everything. It is about doing the right things with full focus. Now understand this clearly. Your mind is constantly under attack, not physically, but mentally. Notifications, noise, social comparison, endless information, constant interruption, and every distraction pulls you away from your future, just a little at a time. But progress requires something different. Progress requires concentration, deep thinking, deep work, deep commitment, because scattered energy produces scattered results. Now think about successful people. They are not necessarily doing more than everyone else. They are simply more focused than everyone else. While others are jumping from one thing to another, they stay with one direction, one goal, one purpose. The disciplined mind is a focused mind. Now let's go deeper. Focus is not accidental. It is trained. It is protected. It is chosen. Every day you decide what gets your attention, and what gets your attention gets your life. So if you give your attention to meaningless distractions, your life becomes small. But if you give your attention to meaningful work, your life expands. Now here is the truth most people miss. You do not need more time. You need more focus. Because focused effort multiplies time. Distracted effort wastes it. Think about a magnifying glass. Sunlight scattered does nothing, but sunlight focused can create fire. That is your life. Scattered attention creates no impact. Focused attention